Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's J-Man. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm J-Man, and with me today is who? Who's here? Who's here? Who's in the chair? Who's in the chair next to me? Fucking say it.
No.
Fucking say it.
No.
Say, I'm the dirty bee.
No.
Go to hell. This is a very special episode. It's episode number 50. That's half of 100. That's a big deal.
Bullshit.
The reason for me making this topic, this episode, is because I knew I really needed to nail it on episode 50. And the other night I was at work, and a streak came to an end for me. After 9.5 years, I finally accidentally saw somebody masturbating. I was going by all the cell doors, and I just so happened to see one, because a few were in a row, and there was a light on, and I looked in the window, and it looked like he was drumming on his thigh or something. You know, like he's listening to music. I thought he was using his thumbs or his hands like he was mock drumming. And then I looked into the room next to his, and then I looked back, and it was not drumming. He was fucking jacking off like nobody's business. Not under a blanket either.
Hi.
What time was this at?
Like 12:30 in the morning.
It's the perfect time to do it.
Is it?
You think everybody else is sleeping?
The lights were on. I wasn't sleeping. What gave it away is I saw his hand. I'm like, no way. Oh, yep, no, that is the distinctive mushroom-shaped head of a cock. That is a penis. That is a penis, and he clearly, wow, he is having a good time. Because his face was like leaned back like this, all squinty. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh. And he had a pretty good pace going, too. He must have been near the finish, because you don't go that speed the whole time. Nobody, like, starts masturbating.
And you just let him go?
Well, I didn't stand there and fucking watch him.
You didn't.
Why the hell would I do that? Then he would know that I saw him. Peekaboo! I could make a thing out of it, but then he'll never be able to look me in the eyes again, and he might fucking hang himself.
So now
and
you
I don't
can look
want
him
that
in the
hanging
eye?
on my conscience.
You can look him in the eye now?
I just know that when I have to hand him his meds, I hand it to his left hand. Because I never know what the right one's been doing. But just, oh, yeah. Just tilt your head back like, oh, yeah. That's what, in my mind, that's what was going through his head.
I'm glad you were picturing.
I only saw it for a split second. I'm like, ah. And then I walked away. And I've had to walk by that door numerous times since. And every time I have to look in that window to check on him and the light's on, I'm like, oh, shit. Because I told my shift supervisor and my other coworker, I just want you gentlemen to know that I just witnessed a man masturbating. And he was really giving it to himself. I mean, there was no illusions about it being romantic. Just skeet, 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 skeet. Just fucking giving it to himself. And,
Are you romantic with yourself?
Well, I try to think about, sexy stuff. I'd like to think my face doesn't look like that. Like I'm half in pain. It's like, oh, I'm almost there. Oh, where's my sock? Here's what I want to know.
Where did it go?
Where did the cum go?
That's what the left hand is for.
Wait, no. I hope he didn't just come on his blankets and then roll over and go to sleep. It's not a queen size bed. You can't soil half of it and then roll to the other side. Like if you're a drunk in a bed by yourself and you piss one half and then you just roll the other side to sleep it off and then check out the next morning without saying anything to the maid. That's what traveling drunks do. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Do you know what I am saying?
And then, unfortunately, every time I had to go check that room, the rest of the night, I was afraid it might be happening again or still. Thankfully, the next time I came by, he was reading.
Perfect start.
Right. Well, I think that's what got it. Is he's reading like a romance novel, and then he's thinking
reading
about
50 Shades of Grey.
We don't have 50 Shades of Grey on the library cart.
But yeah, you have romance novels.
People donate crappy books they don't want. Every woman who's ever had to get rid of a stash of like 30 fucking Danielle Steele novels or some shit probably just donate them somewhere. And then Goodwill there's like a deluge of lady smut. And then they just give them to whoever. And then I'm sure one of our administrators just went, fuck, I'll go grab this big box of free books. Free. 700 books. Okay, now we have a library. Unfortunately, half the books now have pictures on the cover of a man with half his shirt unbuttoned and a big barrel chest as he's holding a woman around the waist. Secrets and Lies by some lady author. But here's what I don't get. These books usually explain the male genitals more. Like his reaction.
How many of these books have you read?
I have thumbed through some of them, and they are hilarious. Her body quivered as he undid his belt. And then something about throbbing manhood or pulsating meat or hard cock on her face. I don't know. Not everybody's as whimsical with their alliteration. He pulled out his cock and he put it on the bridge of her nose, and he played the Terminator theme song with it. Come on, don't you know the Terminator 2 theme song?
No.
Why not? Ever been slapped in the face with a cock?
No.
Why not?
Why would I? Why would I purposely choose to do that?
Sometimes it's not your choice. Not everybody volunteers. Says, yeah, I'd like a mushroom-shaped stamp right here, right next to my eye. Ow! Give it to me. I'll put a Band-Aid over it. I'll look like Nelly.
You don't know what people are into these days.
I guess. But it's like, so what kind of book was he reading? And then he was going to town on himself. And then where did the jizz go? And then like he just, all of a sudden he's sleeping. I had all the best ideas of how to fuck with him after the fact. Like in the moment, I'm like, oh, I just wanted to get away from it. Like, I should have just flicked off the light and walked away. Left him to wonder. But then I'm like, well, God, if I turn off the light and he had his eyes closed, would he even notice? Would he just all of a sudden come and open his eyes and go, oh my God, it's a blackout? Or, I came so hard, I knocked out the power.
Yes, because any person thinks that.
I do. I go outside after I'm done and I'm like, oh my God, I made it rain. I made it rain.
No.
Tell the Navajo people I can save their crops. I just need 5 minutes alone.
Hey.
Well, I'm not. It's apparently a lot of other people have caught dudes masturbating, but it's usually under a blanket. Nobody's just out in the open.
Maybe the blanket is too restrictive for him.
You know, that's just an avenue I don't want to go down. I mean, it was at least average size, I suppose.
And what is average?
I'm sure he was sporting at least 6 inches. Average is like worldwide.
5.4.
Nah, it's like 4.8.
What?
Yes.
Who are you including in this worldwide?
Why do you know so much about dick lengths?
What are you talking about? I read a lot.
Do you chart? Do you chart about all the dicks? Do you have a diary of dicks from over the years?
Maybe.
I don't know where you'd ever find it in that fucking disaster area of a room of yours.
I know where everything is in it.
Do you?
Oh.
So the dick diary is somewhere behind one of those inspirational plaques you keep?
No.
What does it say? Your fire can be the spark that lights the... Well, your mom bought this shit, so don't flick me off. You didn't fucking pick it out.
Still sitting there.
You put it up to humor her.
Nah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking where'd it go?
Oh my God, if anybody sounded like that.
Be awesome.
That would be the last time.
That'd be the last time you watch a stranger masturbate without them knowing?
Just anybody making that sound. No.
As opposed to...
Not funny.
This fucking Steve Smith from American Dad playing tennis with the Rancho Sanchez Vicario. Fault. That's a tennis joke. 30 love.
We're there, dude.
Really?
Yes. The thing of it is we know these guys masturbate. Usually you would think they do it in the shower, Maybe somebody's doing it in one of the toilet stalls in the middle of the night. Almost nobody has a room to themselves. These cells are multi-person cells. Some of them roll like 8, 10 deep.
How you fellas doing?
This guy just so happened to have a room all to himself. So a few nights later, when I had to give him a roommate out of necessity, he was like, "Oh, man." And I'm like, well, honeymoon's over. I guess you won't be in love with yourself as much out in the open. Or else we're going to have a Priya incident. I don't want to have to fill out a worksheet because your roommate caught you jacking off.
I guess I wouldn't care.
Here's the thing, though. We took note of it. We didn't necessarily document it because not every time we catch somebody masturbating do we feel the need to, like, log it in the computer. Like, I caught so-and-so beating his dick like it owed him money. More to follow.
Why would you have to document that anyways?
In case he's a chronic masturbator and then we start writing him up for it. They do that in correctional facilities. If you're a chronic masturbator, they document that you're a chronic masturbator.
Why?
Because then they know that you have some sort of mental issue or where you're a sexual deviant and they don't put female COs on your detail to watch you. Or they start putting like a cover over your window because they think that you're just doing it because you know you're going to get an audience. They can do that. They can put like a mirror screen magnet. So it's like, imagine like a box frame. It looks like a little TV square and they put it over the window and it's filmed so that you can only see your own reflection, but we can see into you. So they do that for these guys that like to fucking beat their meat to an audience. But then it's like, well, God, if I talk to him about it, then I have to acknowledge that I saw it. Then at some point he's going to look at me and I'm going to look at him and we're going to try to avert gazes, but it will have already happened. It won't be a sweet or commiserating moment. You can't get rid of the awkwardness if it's admitting to another man, "Hey, I just want you to know, and there's nothing wrong with this, except for that the lights were on and there could have been a female working, but you were manipulating yourself."
Manipulating?
Manipulating. That's the PC term I think I'm supposed to use. That or masturbating. I can't say he was jacking off, jerking off, beating his dick. Rubbing
Unless
his he was rubbing his penis vigorously. He was massaging it with zeal. He's breaking a sweat. Oh, yeah! And then for the rest of the night, in my head, I just kept having that Lil Jon of the East Side Boys song, Get Low, in my head. From the windows to the walls. Buddy, fuck off. I'm talking about masturbating. Oh, now he's all ears.
I guess when the mood hits you just gotta do it.
Sometimes you can't get anything accomplished until you fire off a couple of knuckle children.
I think that's a guy thing.
Really? You don't ever one of those days you're like, fuck, I'm horned up. I better go flick my bean real quick in the shitter.
No.
Never? Your day will come.
No.
One day you'll be there like, fuck. Why can't I stop being horny? Because clits are like banjos in Deliverance. That's two lesbians that are going at it too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's good. Touch it.
Stop it.
Because what if I'm talking to him and he's like, well, what did you see? I saw your hand going up and down the shaft of your penis at a
Rapid
feverish
speed.
pace. And clearly you weren't in the process of cleaning yourself.
You don't know.
With what? Spit?
Maybe he had an itch.
That might be how I would request a female to clean mine, with a hand in her spit. But all right, let's go.
Gross.
Easy on the grip. This isn't a handshake at a job interview. You're not trying to impress anybody. It's all about skill and finesse.
Stop.
Every time I do that now at work, it just creates laughter with the people that are in the... There's only 3 of us that know. 3 out of the 4 of us working that night. Oh, yeah. Feels so good.
Everybody else tends to be underneath their blanket.
You know, or not do it with the lights on.
How many people actually get caught doing that?
He's the 3rd I can recall off the top of my head right now. But
That has been caught?
That has been caught. One dude got caught 3 times in 3 days, and then we moved him into a room with other people. Because the same female staff saw him every time. I will say, I mean, my job involves sometimes...
I suppose you have to keep your composure and not laugh your ass off.
Right.
How bad would you feel if a female saw you doing that and she just burst out in hysterical laughter?
Yeah, that'd be demoralizing. I mean, first off, it's not the first dick I've seen working at a jail. I've had to give thousands of UA tests to people. So I've seen dicks. I've seen a lot of dicks. I might have to put that on my resume at some point. I have seen a lot of dicks. And strengthened my interpersonal communication skills. But, you know, I just thought of all the ways I could mess with them. Flicking the lights off, knocking on the door. Open up the door just a crack and just go, "You're doing it wrong," and then shut it and then walk away. Open it up. Room for one more?
That would probably be the wrong thing to do.
Are you good? Do you need any help?
Do you need assistance?
Are you having a medical emergency? Is it a rash? I can get you some hydrocortisone cream. We'll take care of the itching. You seem to be scratching. If that is a snake bite, someone's supposed to suck the poison out. You can't wring it out like a rag.
Gross. Stop it.
I can't. That's the reoccurring bit about this.
So every time there's a pause?
I might. That's what you do is you find a new joke that works and then you run it into the ground.
Apparently.
You kill the joke. You make it so it's not even funny, and then you keep going when it's not funny to the point where suddenly it becomes funny again. That's what Family Guy does. That's what Trey Parker and Matt Stone did with the puking Gary scene in Team America when he was throwing up in the alley. And he threw up for so long that it stopped being funny, and then it kept going, and then the doll malfunctioned, and then it started being funny again.
So I take it for that few, you've never had anybody together.
What do you mean?
Caught anybody together?
No. No, if there's
Now that would be fun.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to see is 2 guys fucking jacking each other off or 69ing. Shaking each other's respective peignoirs. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I like your firm handshake. I like your firm handshake. Kiss me on the mouth. I want you inside me. That's a slippery slope. And that's the kind of conversation that gets you a Lake Street handshake. Or you end up sitting in a car somewhere parked outside of a VFW where a bunch of Polacks are having a swing dance night, and there's somebody giving somebody a roadside beach parked next to the curb. I saw that. I'm not 100% certain that the head was in the lap, but there were 2 people in a car parked next to a curb outside of a VFW where there was swing dancing going on. I was in attendance, not by choice. And then I think I saw a gentleman kissing another gentleman on his panacea.
To each his own.
Okay, that's a cat, not one of the kids.
Yeah.
You never know. He might be like, "Daddy, I'm trying to sleep. I have school tomorrow. Stop talking about dicks." And I will go, "Never!" Like a pirate would. Or a villain. "Never!"
Or you could just get one that goes, "I'd kick him in the nuts."
What? They don't know what nuts are.
Mine doesn't either.
But
she said it. We were talking about the rainbow the other night.
what colors were in the rainbow? Red?
What?
Orange? Yellow? Gilt? Go on, talking about the rainbow.
No, you ruined it.
No, how did I ruin it?
Because you're a dick.
So, keep going.
No, she was asked if the leprechaun didn't want to give his gold, what would she do? And she just goes, "I'd kick him in the nuts."
Ha ha ha.
Nobody.
You're going to get some calls from the principal someday.
Yeah, probably.
Some kid took her milk at lunch and she kicked him in the nuts.
Too bad she doesn't even know what nuts are.
I'd laugh if she kicked a kid in the shin. She's like, "I kicked him in the nuts." No,
But
that was his leg.
Boys have hangy parts.
Hangy parts.
No.
Is that what you call them?
Well, apparently that's what she calls him.
You make it sound like the gizzard of a turkey.
She walked in on her dad.
Ew.
Doing what?
Going to the bathroom.
That's why I sit down. I don't have to have these conversations.
We were standing there. She was taking a shower and held the washcloth up like a loincloth and just goes rocking back and forth. I have hangy parts like a boy. I go, what? What did you just say?
Was she watching Disney's Tarzan?
No.
Is there a cell of animation that I'm not aware of where suddenly there's a tea bag as he's jumping from vine to
Possibly.
vine?
You never know.
No, well, you'll be in my heart. It's a Phil Collins song from that movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should have had a reaction.
It's right here.
Why, are you having heartburn?
Yeah.
More of your necklace picked up on the microphone than the actual gesture.
And?
I'm just letting you know. Sounds like you're wearing slave chains around your neck.
Maybe one day.
Really? Yeah, I think you got to pay money for something like that. Nah. What are you just going to take out a Craigslist ad?
Why not?
Looking for someone to treat me like Kunta Kinte. Whip me, slap me, beat me, kick me, spit on me, rape me. As long as there's a cuff around my neck and my breathing is restricted, all is fair game. P.S. No backdoor. Once you take the 3-hole out of the equation, you just lost half your fan base. What else?
You do work in a jail.
I work in a jail. I see a lot of dicks.
At least you don't wax vaginas for a living.
I'd love to do that. I would love to wax vaginas for a living.
Why?
That's like every guy's dream. You get to be that close to and touch vaginas, kind of. And then when they leave, you're in the bathroom, and then, oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you should see some of the women that come in and get their vaginas waxed. Or the smell that comes off of
Once
some of
you've
them.
seen one vagina, you kind of want to see them all. It's like a comparative study.
But they smell, too.
Well, you don't have to fucking huff them. You think guys that are waxing pussies are like, okay, here we
Except
go.
the smell permeates the entire space.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking good. Wow. And just rip that shit off. The stench of fish and BO is what gives them the strength to do it, to press on. It gets them off.
Is that why guys save underwear? For the smell?
I think it would be the smell of the wet pussy, not the fact of a dirty vagina. What are you going to do? Be like, dude, check out this chick. Smell it. Isn't that gross? It's terrible. Here, smell it again. Let me get another.
Don't know what some people are into.
She's so dirty. Made my balls itch. Just keeps taking hits off it like it's a fucking rag covered in gold Krylon paint.
Because you gotta wax their asshole at the same time, too.
Well, I've established I like to look at buttholes. I find them interesting. That's like the perfect job for me. Maybe I should get my esthetician's license so I can wax pussies.
Balls, too?
A man's got to eat.
But with men, you have the
hangy parts.
the threat of ripping.
That's what you sign up for. It's called a waiver. And you're not just going to rip that sumbitch off like Sylvester Stallone pulling his fist off the table and over the top.
Professionals that are teaching classes, all of a sudden they're like, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. That's what you want to hear when somebody's got hot wax and a strip of paper to tear hair out of your sack attached to your scrotum. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay, why don't you go get the super glue and the duct tape to tide me over till I get to the ER so they can sew my ball bag back together. Jesus Christ.
Well, it doesn't rip that bad.
Well,
It's
first
like a paper
off,
cut.
you should never get your balls waxed. That's fucking stupid.
Why not?
Why not?
Can we try it?
You just mentioned tearing.
You wax your nose. Can't be any worse than that.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't have vital sexual organs inside of me that regulate my testosterone level inside of my nose, right? No, they're in my sack, which you're offering to wax. I've waxed my taint before with pre-wax strips. And
Those
that
are
was
horrible.
that was just for out of curiosity's sake, not because I really wanted a smooth bunghole. I didn't even venture in between my crack because I didn't have it in me after that. Although, it might be nice to be baby smooth.
Let's do it.
You're just going to just like the maple syrup pourer at Perkins, you're just going to pour the wax into the top of my crack and just wedge a piece of strip in there and just rip that shit?
No.
Why?
Why would you do that? You'd have too much wax. Because then you wouldn't get anything.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
There's a science behind
Is
it.
there a science behind it?
Don't be a dick.
How much science is involved in ripping hair out of cooters?
You gotta know what kind of wax to use.
Not the blue kind.
Why not?
I don't know. That's what the beast says. Not the blue kind.
Considering when it melts, it turns brown.
What am
The
I?
blue kind.
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
The blue kind is what we use on your nose.
Yeah. Why would you use that on my asshole?
You use it in areas where the hair grows in different directions.
Why?
Because when you put wax on, you go with the hair.
Right.
And when you take it off, you go against the hair. The way it grows.
Uh-huh.
So the hard wax, you don't need a strip. You just rip. So it takes everything, whichever direction
What
it
an
is.
informative episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wax me.
You won't be making that noise.
Yeah, probably I won't be making any noise. You want to know why? Because I'll be passed out because you will have torn my sack wide open.
I can start with your ass crack.
Are you picturing it? I'm picturing it.
I'd never let anybody wax my tea bag.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
This is the third time I'm going to say it. You mentioned tearing. No matter how much you try to convince me that it's worth it.
I don't know.
I'll never let you go and wax my sack. You ought to know by now.
If you do it right, you won't.
Oh, yeah. Right. And if I wipe my ass properly, I'll never have an itch back there.
Right.
Things happen. Temperatures rise. Moisture builds.
Why do you look like you're about to cry right now?
Ecosystem around your beehole changes. I mean, I'd let somebody wax my ass, but never my beanbag there.
That's what I just said. Let's wax your butt crack. Let's do it.
Yeah, I looked at my ass in the mirror the other day. It's not aesthetically pleasing. Not my hole, just my ass in general. It's kind of pale, patchiness to the hair. Then you spread the cheeks, and it's a fucking horror show.
Why are you looking there?
Why would I not look at my asshole?
Who does that?
Because I got a thing on my
Who does
asshole
that?
and I wanted to see what it looked like. It might be a hemorrhoid, but I don't know.
Still confused, huh?
Just monitoring it to see if it's getting bigger or smaller.
Again?
Or going. What do you mean again? No, it's not like that time that once upon a time ago, I don't know what the hell happened, but I had like a really itchy asshole for like 3 days straight. And then I went and looked in the mirror. It's because I wasn't wiping properly. It's because I had a hemorrhoid with a pimple on it. So I went in the shower and I cleaned my ass with soap and then I popped that sumbitch. It only stung for a few seconds and it bled a little bit, but afterwards I was done being itchy.
Oh, for God's sake.
You just wait, you'll have hemorrhoids too someday.
Nope.
The beast has a few from being pregnant. Maybe I got sympathy hemorrhoid.
You have no sympathy for her.
Well, I don't know why I would have one. Why would I have one?
I've watched you try and fart.
I've never pushed so hard that I've prolapsed one of the spokes in my asshole.
Yeah, how's that feel?
I never need to fart that badly or push that hard because they are coming out of me constantly. I'm like a fucking easy bake fart machine. I'm like the human embodiment of that fart blaster from a Despicable Me.
Yours aren't that funny.
They are to me.
They smell like death.
I'm sorry my farts aren't as humorous as yours.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sounds like somebody's pulling anal beads out of you. And then, the ones that you hold until you leave that are probably like...
No.
I've demonstrated on the microphone what the beast's farts sound like. They're like skeevy stoner Taco Bell farts. No matter what time of day, no matter what she's eating. It sounds like she's trying to drown a duck underwater. I don't know how she has such a disgustingly noisy butthole, but it's like I see where the
So
girls
it's constantly
get it from.
sounding juicy.
Yes.
Ew.
And I just think that's going to itch when it dries.
Oh, no wonder she's always such a bitch.
No, she's a bitch because she has a yeast infection in her soul.
Who the is this guy?
And there's no spot to stick a monostat egg in there for that.
Shut up.
You'd have to have a priest with a tube of liquid Vagisil just anointing you like it's Easter Sunday.
And my soul, my Savior God to thee. Demon out!
Jesus Christ. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to baptize her.
I have 50 bottles of Monistat.
Why? Well, they could just take her down to the Mississippi River and do it, born again style.
No.
The only downside is I'm not sure I'm going to have the strength to pull her back up out of the water once I dunk her face under. No. You're not holy. You're not forgiven until you stop thrashing, you bitch. It's a few more seconds. Your soul's almost clean. It's a struggle right now, but when I breathe the air back into your lungs afterwards and tell you what happened before you passed out, you're going to feel like $1 million knowing you're going to get into heaven. At least for the 10 minutes until you go home and let Loverboy lick your butthole again. Yeah, her butthole.
Why?
Hemorrhoids. And he licks her butthole. Maybe not recently. We don't keep a tally of how often he does it, but he's done it. Probably multiple times.
I don't understand why she tells you.
Because she's stupid? Haven't we established that she's stupid?
Roadhouse.
But you think from the first time you made fun of her,
Am I
at
not?
least the second time that you made fun of her, that she would no longer share.
I can't help it. I'm charming. I'm like a used car salesman. I'm unnervingly personable. People tell me things, whether I want to hear them or not. Like this one time, this female inmate, I don't know where my kids are. Okay. Elaborate on that. Well, I haven't talked to my ex in 2 days and he's got our kids. Okay, well, either call the cops or the news, but here's the phone. I'll let you use it. Nothing I can fucking do. What am I, a private eye now? Mm-hmm. Just put on my Hawaiian shirt and my fake mustache and take off into the night to find her children? It's a Magnum P.I. reference. No. Well, Reese Hartfeld might not get the reference. I have to explain some of them. He's kind of young. I think he's 23. What? You're shaking your head because he doesn't know, or because I was talking to a 23-year-old?
Because there's so many 23-year-olds that have no idea. What? I had to explain to a 21-year-old who Johnny Cash was.
Yeah?
That's not okay.
He was popular in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They were born in the 90s. They weren't cognizant of music until they were like 10, so that's like almost the 2000s.
I knew who people were.
Your dad's 80-some years old. Of course you fucking
78.
knew. Whatever.
He didn't listen to music?
Ever?
No.
What is he, John Lithgow from Footloose?
Maybe.
No dancing and no music. They're all an abomination against God. Damn Kevin Bacon and his tight-fitting white t-shirts and cheekbones. Little upturned nose. Little hair.
Are you done?
Milky calves, the way he dances. Look at the movement on his hips. Look at him move. Oh, yeah. I like how you whispered back at me for whispering. You couldn't just say, stop. You had to go, stop. Like we're in a movie.
I don't talk during movies.
Neither do I.
Bullshit.
That's not true.
Bullshit.
I might
have to
talk
tell
out
you-
loud towards the screen.
I have had to tell you every single movie we've watched to shush.
That's on DVD here.
Oh,
or at
no,
your
even in
place.
the theater.
The last movie that I went to with you and your daughter and your sister was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, no, we went to The Revenant.
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
They're in Alaska. No,
Why
they're
do
in
I sound like
Alaska.
a retarded person when you do an impression?
Because I thought you were retarded at that moment.
I sounded like Matt Damon from Team America. Matt Damon. They're in Alaska.
Wouldn't shut up.
You wouldn't shut
you
up.
had to keep on and on and on.
I had questions.
Which could have waited till the end.
No. I'd forget some of them then.
Good. That's the point. They probably would have been answered.
Not.
Yes, it is.
Wasn't there like a comedy movie or something we went and saw
Dumb and Dumber,
too?
where Harry has a daughter.
You go right to hell.
What?
At least I communicate my thoughts. My dick itches.
God.
Because it's up against my balls. In between my legs when I'm sitting.
God, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, you don't have hangy parts. Because you know what it does? It traps air.
It's great.
I was having a conversation with two lesbians a couple of weeks ago. And I made some complaint about it being a hot August day and my tea bag being stuck to my leg. And the one goes, well, you don't think I have a problem with that? I'm like, all your parts are inside of you. You have a leg, a lip, another lip, and a leg. There's not a bunch of skin like silly putty just dancing back and forth between the two of them.
Kind of depends on how big they are.
Well, I don't think she has a giant set of pussy lips or like a magnum-sized clitoris. Well, I didn't ask. Just because they're lesbians doesn't mean they have dick-like clitorati. Anyway, the other one, the one girl said that, you know, it's not like I don't have problems, and I gave her some pointers, and the other one's like, baby powder, that's the way to go. I'm like, so every day you just a handful of baby powder, you splash it on your downstairs before you go out, and then you walk around for the next 6 hours with your vagina looking like a powdered donut? That's a delicious thought, isn't it? Big old white powdery pussy. Then it turns into a paste. That powder becomes a paste. It doesn't just magically disappear. It's not like you walk around and then there's powder coming out of each fucking leg of your shorts. Imagine though she gets kicked in the pussy though. There's like a cloud of smoke. Almost like it's a kung fu movie. Not that I would ever kick her in the vagina. But then it's like, later on, what if your significant other wants to chow your box? Do you have to go wash off the baby powder, or you just hope that it's gone? And...
yeah.
Oh, yeah? Really?
I would hope so.
Have you been faced with this situation before? You seem fairly confident in your answer.
Well, I would hope that somebody's smart enough not to just go down there.
Well, maybe. Really?
You're not even supposed to use baby powder on babies anymore.
Because? What is it going to give them? Autism now? Everything fucking gives kids autism. Here's the reality. Kids are stupid. And your kids are stupid because you're stupid. I mean, there's kids that are actually autistic, and I'm not talking shit about them. I'm talking about the ones that they say are like borderline, and in reality, it's just a kid that's a slow learner. A little behind the curve. A late bloomer. They're like, oh, you're on the spectrum. No, he's fucking retarded because his father's sperm is the equivalent to a gene pool with piss in it.
The beast.
Sometimes I try to envision her getting her asshole licked because she's not very flexible. And it's like, does she try to pull her legs up to her ears just to kind of separate the cheek so it's right there? Or does she lay on her stomach and then he's...
Well, she has no ass.
Her back is pretty much just like flat and there's a little bit of cheek meat and then legs. Not everybody can have a booty like you.
Not very many white girls, at least.
Yeah. Well. What can I say? You got gifts in the hips, apparently. What would you do in the situation if you walked by a window and you saw a dude jacking it?
I would laugh my ass off.
Out loud right there?
Yeah.
So he'd hear you through the door?
Yep.
Don't you laugh at it! It's not funny!
I mean, what else would you do?
I
mean,
know.
I've been close enough to having somebody flash me that I just... Bleh.
What do you mean? When you're working on them, massaging them?
Yeah.
Well, it's because you get dirty old men in the room with you.
No, it's usually the younger ones.
The younger ones are like, touch it.
No.
Have you been propositioned for a hand job before?
No. Girl I went to school with, yes.
Ah, now we're talking.
She walked out. She was probably one of the most innocent people that you could ever meet. And walked out of her room, and I was standing there, and she's like, oh, dear God. Oh, my God. Like, what? She's like, he just rolled over and told me I could finish any way I wanted to.
What a gentleman. He gave her options. In my head, that's my takeaway. Because he was kind enough to say, hey, you could take it in the mouth, you could take it in the hand.
He was just...
Shake your hair back and forth across it, maybe just a
balding,
gentle nuzzle.
Redhead, shaped like a big old pear. He was...
Louis C.K. asked her for a hand job?
Oh, no. No. He kind of reminded me of a cartoon.
Which one?
I don't know. That he would be a cartoon character that you would draw as a pervert.
Well, it takes all types.
I did have a guy want me to rub inside of his ass crack because that's where it hurt.
I'm furrowing my brow right now for the audience at home that can't see me.
It was
I'm aghast, but also
Intrigued.
I have questions. How did he incur such an injury?
I have no idea.
How does one get a sore ass crack?
Well, it was his tailbone. Wearing whitey tighties, whipped the blanket down, whipped his underwear down, points in his ass crack. He's like, I need you to rub right here. I'm like, nope.
Well, if his tailbone hurt. Clearly you're into Greek. Do you get the reference?
No.
The Greeks invented anal sex.
Okay.
So like the term go in Greek?
Never heard it.
Well, there you go. I just added to your pop culture lexicon right there.
And how does that work?
A dick goes into an asshole.
Greeks invented it.
In and out and in and out, and then eventually somebody finishes.
Because
I don't
they
know if it's
orgies
because
or
there's
what?
pressure on the prostate and the guy receiving comes. Maybe the guy inside him comes, which is more likely. And then the other guy that has a butt full of cum has to go to the bathroom and try to shit out the truffle butter.
Try? There's no try.
Really? What are you, Yoda now?
I've had this conversation before.
There is no try. There is only do. Really?
I've had the conversation that it basically is an enema.
Hard to expel your semen is.
Hello?
Anyway, you were speaking about a double flush today. What now? Tell me what's going on.
No.
Double flush. Like you had something in your eyes and you went to the eye wash station? Or what kind of flush are we talking about?
Wipe the shit-eating grin off your face.
I can't. I'd like you to elaborate more.
No.
People want to hear about this stuff.
What, girl poop?
Girl poop. What would episode 50 be without girl poop?
Oh, it was just bad.
How many days has it been since you've gone prior to this?
Six days?
It's bad enough that it's 6 days, but it took you that long to remember. Like, there's a pause that I feel like I shouldn't even edit out. Just like the sound of the ticking clock in the beginning of 60 Minutes. Just tick, 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 tick. Two flush poop, huh? Not a lot of ladies can do that.
When you have an eco-friendly toilet,
What does that even mean?
it doesn't have a whole lot of water.
So that's just like ticket prices for Titanic adjusted to today's inflation makes it the third grossing movie of all time still.
Sure. What?
It's a low flow toilet and there's only like 3 ounces of water. So when you poop in it, it looks like somebody dropped a aircraft carrier into a Gulf pond.
Yeah, something like that.
Did it iceberg above the water? It had to crest.
By far.
Coloration?
Brown?
Consistency?
I reached my finger in there and felt it.
No.
It was out
was
in
it
like
runny
10
or
seconds.
hard?
Neither.
When you said, like, I reached my finger there, I'm like, what did you fucking have to give your ass? It's like you're a butthole bulimic. I had to stick my finger in there and a couple of gyrations and that jostled it loose. I didn't have time to find a D to stick in my B, so I had to settle for my index. Going Greek.
No.
Anyway, so...
A good friend would help me out.
A good friend? What are you talking about? I'm going to get a text message that says, I need to poop. Can I borrow your finger? If you care about me, you'll do this. You'll do this for me. Is that our Thelma and Louise moment?
Yep.
Instead of holding hands as we drive off a canyon to our deaths, it's us in a restroom at your job with me sticking my finger up your asshole, and then suddenly the gates of hell open from inside you?
Yeah.
That sounds sexy. Do we go to the Olive Garden afterwards to celebrate?
Oh, no.
Why, the breadstick's going to be like a trigger event?
No.
What'd you name it?
Clark.
That's good, because it sounds like you gave birth to a 6-pound brown baby boy. What have you been eating the last few days? Vegetables, fruits, McDonald's?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Glue?
Glue.
Just eating paste and it bound you up?
It's not uncommon.
It's not...
For me.
You should start eating more Fruit Loops so that when these things come out...
They're colorful?
They're colorful.
It doesn't work anymore.
Fruit Loops makes your poop neon green, and since you have such a fucked up body, it would mix with all the stuff that's otherwise, and you'd have like a camouflage turd.
It's happened.
Really? I've never had neon green with brown. I've had like brown with some yellowish orange or brown with some little bits of green, but nothing that looks like 1990s Neo Camel. You are a dirty bee. Dropping forearm-sized deuces.
Not that big.
Did you at least light a match afterwards?
Where was I going to get a match?
You don't have a box of matches in there?
I got it done as fast as I could, and I was out before somebody came back there. That's the pooping bathroom. Every single person comes
That's
back
the
there.
pooping bathroom? How many bathrooms are there?
3.
Does your sister, the owner, have her own executive bathroom?
Nope.
With a bidet?
Nope.
A bidet that has Fenta? I don't know why. I just picture your sister like get naked from the waist down and hover it over, spread her pussy lips, stepping on a handle, and it's shooting. No, I'm thinking orange. It's shooting orange Fanta right up her hooch.
Jesus.
And then 3 hills worth of ants start crawling up her legs. She's like, "Yes, yes, my children, come unto me."
Are you done?
Skate, skate, skate. Interact with the show on Twitter at what do we call it? That is at what do we call it? Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/what do we call it podcast show. For the what do we call it podcast, I'm J-Man. Come on. Say I'm the dirty bee, but try to say it without the southern twang of that one time you were tired but sounded drunk and said, "Dirty bee." Like you were a fucking lot lizard. Say it.
Goodbye.
And that's the end.